Welcome back, everybody, to End of a New Beginning. It's 1881. I'm playing as the German Empire, and we are in world conquest mode. We most recently defeated the British Empire, and with it, acquired most of Canada. So now we are starting to send divisions into place to prepare for an invasion of the United States of America. So that's up next. And from there, I don't know. I think I'm probably going to concentrate on the Americas before we worry about Russia. But that's where we're at right now, so we'll see how far we get in today's episode. All right, so one of the things I need to do is I need to assign some garrison troops to London and most of the southern part of England. We'll even go up into the Midlands here. Yeah, let's even do it with Liverpool. We've got a lot of sabotage taking place right now, a lot of resistance to occupation you can see here. I guess it even goes up to Yorkshire. It's basically all of the UK, so we're going to have to add some more divisions to make this happen. So here we can look at the resistance map and see exactly where the issues are. Most of France, not an issue anymore. We do have a little bit of an issue down here in Spain that we'll need to deal with. But otherwise, it's mostly the UK right now. And not too much resistance up in Scotland. It's mostly, we'll start with Yorkshire and work your way down. It's basically England and Wales. So let's see where we've got. We've only got 26 divisions to do all of that with. We need to do a little bit of resistance check there. And then we'll go all the way up. There we go. That should do it. So we've moved a second Army Group, 23 divisions, over to Canada. So now we have a total of 47 divisions in Canada, and we're looking at June 1882 to be able to launch our invasion. One group will be heading into the west, the other will be dealing with the east. I think that should be enough to get this done. Alright, this is kind of a big deal. We've got the Gewehr 88 as a new weapon available to our military, so we're going to start passing those out to everybody. It'll take a while to get them all in service, though. All right, there's our justification for conquering the United States. We're also working on a justification for the Confederate States of America. And what I want to look at now is, now that the U.S. justification is complete, how quickly can we do one on Mexico? 198 days, that's actually pretty fast. Hopefully we have conquered the U.S. by then. He doesn't have a real large army. I don't expect it to be that difficult, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and watch and see how fast. We're moving into Maine pretty quickly. Surprisingly, none of these divisions are moving forward, and I'm not sure. Yeah, it must have been a supply issue. We're just going to tell them to be aggressive. Alright, so Maine's going down pretty quick, and with it most of the eastern U.S. We're going to watch how fast Boston, New York, Philadelphia, and Washington all fall. Oh, we're still not really moving into the west at all. So you can see it's happening pretty fast. U.S. has lost 44,000 men to my 2,000, and they're already down by about a third. As far as the war progress goes, we're about to split at least the eastern half of the country in two, because we're going to make our way to the Ohio River and the border with the Confederacy. We've taken Boston. New York, Washington, Philadelphia should all fall in the next month or so. We are slowly moving in the west. Just taking a little bit of time. There's really no opposition, though. The only armies of opposition are over here in Ohio. All right, we're heading for Washington. We're heading for New York. That Washington, Philly, and New York might be enough to finish this. I'm looking here. We're almost at 2/3 of the way toward capitulation. We're 64% of the way there. If we control 70% of the victory points, it will capitulate when it has 53. Oh, they have 70%. When it has 53% or less, they'll capitulate. They've only got a fielded manpower of between 90 and 163,000 men. We've got way more than that. All right, we've taken Washington. We're on the doorstep of New York. And that's it. That's all it took. Okay. Liberate to free states. No, not the free states of America. I don't think so. We may liberate the Indian nations, though. That might be kind of awesome to do, actually. All right, we're going to liberate the Apache. We're going to let the Mormons have their own country, too. Actually, you know what? It won't look cool on the map if we don't conquer everything, so I changed my mind. Do we have enough? We've got enough to take everything. Let's do it. Okay. Yeah, see, that looks better than having all these states that I free out there. All right, Confederates are next. All right, so for this next set of invasions, we're actually going to send 24 divisions to line up over here in Arizona and California to prepare for the invasion of Mexico, while we simultaneously line up for an invasion of the Confederate States. That one might be a little tricky because that's a long border to cover with 24 divisions, but we're going to see how it goes. We're about to research 1878 uniforms. We're working on all kinds of military research right now. Okay, so here's a concern. This is something we have to be aware of. The Regency of Mexico is guaranteed by the Russian Federation, which means they're very likely to go to war with me if I invade Mexico. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and declare the war on the Confederate States, which will happen in January. Mexico, right about the same time, almost within a week of each other. We'll take the Confederacy. We're going to ship 24 of these divisions back to Europe to deal with the Russians. And then we'll go ahead and declare war on Mexico, and I think we'll probably get to take care of Russia at the same time. Okay, we've got our conquering of Virginia justification ready to go. So let's go ahead and declare war. And we'll send our forces in. Oh, they're called the Ottomans as our enemy. Okay, that changes things a little bit. So I don't think the Ottomans have a place to get at me quite yet. So I think we're going to be safe for a little while. But we'll see what happens. They've called Kuwait as our enemy. Yeah, and see, since we're not going to go to war with the Mexicans quite yet, let's go ahead and send this other force over here to help out. I think this should make a difference. Well, the Confederates are putting up a much stronger fight than the United States did. You can see 31,000 losses for me, 39,000 for him. This is definitely not how I thought this was going to go, although we've got a lot of men who have not joined in on this fight. So we're going to manually start ordering additional divisions to get over here. And we've got to do something about our political stability, because every time I've declared these wars, it's driving it down. So I'm going to have to deal with that after I finish the Confederates, before I go after Mexico and have to deal with Russia. Okay, things are going pretty well now. February 1883, we're driving toward New Orleans down here. We haven't taken Richmond yet, but I think we probably will fairly soon. In fact, I'm not sure why things just froze up, except that we're about to have something really big happen here. Oh, maybe not. Usually that's what precipitates that, but we're about to take Richmond. We've taken most of Arkansas. We've solidified the line over here now. New Mexico's ours. We're going to start moving into Texas. Most of Tennessee is in our hands. I want to watch Richmond fall. That should be happening here fairly soon. We're starting to shift some units over, so maybe not as quickly as I'd like. All right, now we're going for Richmond. Libya. Boy, Ottomans are just basically calling the entire Middle East and parts of Africa into this conflict. There's Richmond. Let's see where we're at now. Confederates are pretty close to falling. There's a pretty substantial amount of men opposing me, though, mostly because of the Ottoman army. Atlanta's the new capital, so now we'll march on Atlanta. Our national stability is at 0, so I'm going to try to stabilize the nation through national focus, and we're going to start seeing if we can pass some laws that'll boost my political stability. We're going to have to chill on war for a little while to stabilize things in our home country. Okay, so we're going to go from standard taxes down to low taxes, and we're going to call for a vote on this reform in a month. Let's see if we've got the votes to do it. This is the first step toward political stability. Every time I pass something that I propose, that'll give me a stability point. Oh, we need to look for an heir. That's a problem. Yeah, let's do that. I think I saw something pop up about my heir dying, but I was in the process of doing something else and missed it. We've got 143 votes right now, so that's good. Let's meet with the traditional conservatives and try to build their support a little bit. All right, Treaty of New Orleans, the Confederates are out. Take all states. All right, with that is going to come a time of peace for our country. We've got to stabilize our nation. However, we don't have an end to war because we're still at war with all of these nations that were allied with previous nations I was at war with. So we're going to need to send some of these folks back. We're at war with Serbia, at war with Romania, at war with the Ottomans. Not really any clear path to get at them, short of using our naval power. Actually, yes, there is. All the way over here in the mountains, we do have a border with the Ottoman Empire. A couple of really short places. So we're going to go ahead and send our troops all the way from the Confederate States of America over here to the western border and see if we can invade the Ottomans that way. All right, we've passed our vote on tax reform. That's going to give us a little bit of political stability. We're also out of manpower, which means it's time. So the full-scale protests quiet down. It means it's time to pass a reform on not mobilization. We actually need, where is it? Yeah, it is mobilization. So we have limited conscription right now. We're going to go to extensive conscription. Let's vote in a month. And let's see just how likely this is to pass. Oh, we have 49. Oh, boy. Okay, very unlikely no matter what I do. But let's go ahead and start by giving a speech in Parliament and see if that gives us any chance whatsoever of making this happen. All right, speech in Parliament got me 9 votes. It's not going to be anywhere close to enough to make this happen. So we're going to have to find another way, not only to get our manpower, but also to build our stability. In the meantime, we're very slowly working on trying to get these troops moved back to Europe. It's going to take some time to do that. So, a bit of a problem I didn't consider. We don't have a valid path to get there. And the reason we don't have a valid path to get there is because it would involve going through Ottoman territory to land. So I've got to find another way. I don't know if we can get Poland. Oh, Poland will give us military access. Beautiful. That's what we need. Because now what we can do is we can land our troops on our own side of the border. We can march through Poland, and we can march down through this way. You can see now that that happened. Now our troops are moving. They're headed for ships to take them. They're going to drop them off, looks like down here in southern, well, it's not southern France, more northeast Spain. And then they're going to have a long journey to get over there. And in the meantime, the Ottomans are marching through my own territory. No surprise there. Our vote failed miserably. So we're going to have to look for another way to do this. We're also going to have to slow down on building new divisions because we don't have the manpower to do it. I'd rather get that manpower back into our existing units. Let's look at another decision that might help us boost that political stability. What else can we do that might have a better chance of passing? Child labor laws. Let's make child labor illegal. Everybody will support that, right? Right? Surely. We've got 150 votes. Excellent. We'll go ahead and make a speech in Parliament to ensure a nice little buffer there to make that one pass. All right, our first troops are arriving back in Europe. We've got a bunch more that are waiting on shore for enough naval transports to get them across. It looks like we're only going to be able to take perhaps 5 divisions at a time. Well, I guess what was happening was something got screwy because the Ottomans took too much territory and my front line got dissolved. So now that I redrew the front line with the Ottomans, most of my divisions are coming across, and they're going to land in a couple different spots in the German Empire, and then they're going to make their way, continue to make their way over here. We're going to have 23 divisions on this line. Who knows where the line will be by the time they get there. While we're waiting for that to happen, we can see now the Ottomans are the second most powerful nation on the planet after the German Empire. We now have 278 million in our population. And once we take out the Ottomans, it'll be Brazil, then Austria, then part of Japan, Italy, British India, the Russian Federation. Those are the great powers. First divisions are arriving just as the voting act is a success. That gets us down to a -1 political stability now. We're getting a little more stable all the time, and we've got divisions in place just in time to just block this tiny area here. He's going to push through over here, and he's making his way toward Crimea, which is a bit of a concern for me. But I'm not in a position to push back yet. Let's see where the rest of these units are. They're just now arriving in Europe. We got 2 more divisions on the way. We'll give orders for a pushback maybe to here. But I don't know how much I'm facing here, so it might take some time. Oh, we're going to get some of these guys down through Crimea to go this way. Excellent. Push back, boys. Push back. Riots are gone from the streets. Excellent. Excellent news. A Lend-Lease. Is that Poland? Indonesia. Excellent. Okay, thank you. All right, looks like even those 4 divisions are having some success. Yeah, this is what happens, Ottomans, when we actually have an army in the area to fight back. About 1 million manpower on my side. Could be as high as 500,000 on his side, but I'm expecting I have much better technology. All right, the bulk of this army is headed this way. Just in time, too, because he appears to be counterattacking. And this is going to set things up interestingly. I think once we take out the Ottomans, maybe that'll be time to go after Russia. Oh, the eruption of Krakatoa. I believe I read somewhere this was the loudest sound ever recorded on our planet. It was an absolute, just devastating explosion down in Indonesia. What happened was that when the volcano exploded, all this seawater, or when it erupted, all the seawater came pouring in and just immediately hit the lava and caused this dramatic explosion. Barometers around the world were able to record the shockwave 7 times as they traveled along the Earth's surface, a testament to the explosion's power. Reports from the region suggest the eruption, let's read the rest of that, could be heard as far as Perth, Australia, and managed to burst the eardrums of sailors as far as 63 kilometers from the detonation. That's just absolutely insane if you think about it. The sound. So Krakatoa, I believe, is somewhere in this region here, and it was heard all the way over in Perth, Australia. That's just intense. Absolutely intense. All right. So now we're getting a decent-sized force to fight back against the Ottomans. Let's see what the numbers look like so far. 10,000 losses on my side. We could call the Austrians to this, although it looks like they've already been fighting. Only 2,000 losses for me so far. All right, well, this is going to be an interesting fight. He's not going to be an easy target to deal with because of the terrain that we're fighting through. I mean, we're fighting through some pretty tough areas. There's a lot of mountains. Right here, we've got to cross over the water to get across. Once we get across here, there's only 3 divisions we're facing. I think we'll probably have a breakout at some point. But what we don't have are available manpower to replace our losses, so that's going to become an issue along the way. We've lost 13,000 men, plus the losses we had against the Confederates. He's lost 95,000. All right, we're going to go ahead and vote for a war economy. Actually, let's do this in incremental stages because that's going to help me with my issues of stability. So we're going to vote on partial mobilization. I should have probably done this much sooner. I don't know why we keep getting the thing about Greece. It happens nonstop. All right. How's our vote looking for this? Oh, it's really close. 127 right now. Let's make a speech in Parliament. We're going to need to do more than that, though. Speech in Parliament got us to 134. That's still way too close for my liking. We're going to try to meet with the centrists because they are the lower of the two. We basically have all centrists and traditional conservatives. Traditional conservatives are already supporting it. Let's move the centrists a little bit and see if we can get some additional votes there. Having a really hard time breaking through against the Ottomans right now. Let's try to push through with everything we've got. And then let's see where the vote stands after this push with the centrists. Nothing. I gained nothing. All right. Make political deals. Let's try that. That's going to probably be the last thing that I can do before the vote happens. Meanwhile, we're trying desperately to break through with these 13 divisions against these 4. Now they're down to 3. Also not pushing through up here at all, but we only have 4 divisions up there. All right, we got up to 145 on the reform vote. I think that's going to be enough to get it done. There it is. We got 149 on the vote, so that's a success. That gets us back to 0, which is huge for me right now compared to -3. It's a major difference. But, man, we just can't press through. We're going to need some additional forces over here to help push through. I'm going to have to send some of these other divisions. I think we're just going to have to ignore the Americas for now. So let's go ahead and bring the other divisions across. Oh, I just did it with the wrong ones, didn't I? Boy. Let's try this again. We're going to get an additional army over there, and we're basically leaving no troops in America. All right, so we're going to try to break out from up here and just hold the line the best we can for now down here until that other army arrives. And it looks like we may be able to do that. In the meantime, we've got additional research to be had. Solid camouflage. Oh, looks like we're entering a new year, 1884. Cavalry supplies. And now we're breaking out. Oh, I made the wrong choice, and now I'm back at -1 on political stability again. Darn it. All right, but we're breaking out against the Ottomans finally. All right, so what I'm doing here is now that I'm kind of holding the line right here, I'm going to send these troops from this side to surround and destroy these divisions. We're waiting on the other armies to arrive. They can't right now because they're stuck in terms of supply. They've landed back in Europe, and then they've basically gotten stuck for lack of supply being able to move. So we may run into some more of those issues here as well. It looks like we're still going okay at the moment. Just really slow going, and I kind of expected that. with the terrain that we'd be facing. And now he's, yeah, so we're having major supply issues. Now he's actually created a bulge in my line on this side. How long is it going to take to get there? 6 days still. Our heir is dethroned. All right. Okay, looks like we're cleaning up over here. We're going to start pushing the battle line forward. It's going to narrow down in here and make things a little easier for me, I think. We've taken all of this ground here, which should free us up on some of the supply issues that we were facing. Going to continue the research. Mostly this is all about land right now. But we're going to wrap this up in just a minute. I know it's been a short episode, but as I've explained before, it takes a long time just to record 1 or 2 years on this game. As slow as it sims, you can kind of see how slow it's moving. So we're going to continue the conquest of the Ottomans in the next episode. My question to our war cabinet over on Patreon is this, and you can all vote on this. You can also, if you're not a member on Patreon, that's totally okay. You can leave your comments down below. But the vote over on Patreon with the war cabinet, and that's everyone who is an officer, so first lieutenant on up. The vote is going to be binding, so whatever they decide, that is what I will do. The question is this: where do we go next? We've got 3 options. We've got the Americas, invading Mexico, which very well might set off a war with Russia. Do we ignore the Americas and focus completely on just attacking Russia? Once the Ottomans are taken out, do we just line everybody up and go for the Russians? Or do we ignore both of those and go for Africa instead? Africa might take some time because there's so many different nations, and we're going to have to do a declaration of war on each one, assuming that they don't gang up against me and declare war on me first. So those are the options. Do we go for the Americas? Do we go solely for Russia? Or do we go after Africa? Head on over there and vote, and we're going to wrap it up right here. Drop a like if you would, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.